don't pick anything like Kestrel or Vox or Ringo or Baron or Petal. Don't pick any of them. Just go something like an Ozo with a lane glaive. Alpha's useless against that comp because there's no one for her to burst down and dive. So that's another decent counter, but that requires you changing your entire draft and you're changing your entire team comp just to counter one hero.
Yep, and the meta is in such a way that it's just so difficult to pull out those heroes, especially that of Glaive, when you have Vox just running around, when you have Black Feather as well. But we do see the run being banned out, and of course, for the side of Bren Esports, they are settling for themselves a Vox. Once again, not a surprise. Mr. Jim on that Vox was just playing tremendous, but just couldn't close out the game in the end.
If I was Renegades here, I would leave Alpha open, ban Lyra, and then if Bren Esports do not pick Alpha here, Renegades just go for Kestrel Alpha once again. Go for an identical team comp and see, okay, Bren Esports, what are you going to do? And that is why Bren Esports are going to pick Alpha themselves. Because if they didn't, I'm 95% sure Renegades would go, okay, let's just go the same comp as last game, and we're going to win this. So that's smart play from Bren Esports to get their carries first. They still have a lot of captains they can pick. There's Lance, Grace, Churnwalker. Listen to me, SCA. Churnwalker's actually all right. Please at least think about picking him in some situations. If the enemy has a lot of dive, Churnwalker's so good. You can land all your chains, distribute that damage. Imagine an Alpha Prime Directive. You know that burst down 400 damage? Add 30% onto that to everyone. And that's so much damage with this Alpha Fox comp. I think it really could work. I'm just hoping, Luxury. I'm hoping.
Well, we can only hope. The side of RNG, go for the sword. There's nothing stopping you.
Yeah, if I can hope, then you can hope for the sword push lane as well.
Well, I mean, that's quite honest. I mean, Alpha can go up to lane to gang the Prime Directive. That is quite an honest truth. But go for the Saw against the Fox. There is nothing stopping you. Saw is just so strong now. But they will settle for that Crow. Nothing wrong in that as well. We've seen some Crow going up against Alpha. In one of the games, it didn't quite work out though. So I'm quite interested to see how this will actually pan out with the Ringo last pick on RNG.
I am surprised, confused about this Ringo last pick. I can only assume it's going to be a CP Ringo to try and counter the Vox. And the last pick, Catherine, well, that's great if it's a CP Ringo because Catherine just stands next to whoever's been ulted, pops Stormguard, and Ringo's going to basically kill himself. So I think it's a very different draft from Renegades. They are trying to counter the Alpha with a Ringo. Even though Ringo has 0 disengage and Alpha has a ton of engage, it's going to be interesting to see what Renegades are going to do with this Ringo, whether we're going to go double weapon, CP Crawl, or CP Ringo, or double CP. You know, that's all the options that they have. And so I think CP Ringo makes the most sense, just because Weapon Ringo, yes, it's quite good against Vox, but it's not good at all against Alpha. In previous patches, when Ringo was quite good, Alpha was always a counter, because she could just dive in, keep diving in. Ringo had nothing to disengage from her. As soon as she gets slowed, she can just A or B. And I think, yes, Crystal Ringo is like the only thing that Renegades could do that might work out against this Vox.
Okay, wait. So we all know Cruel's healing scales with CP.
Yes.
Right? The health barrier scales with CP.
They're not going to go CP Crawl. I don't think they should go CP Crawl Weapon Ringo either, because not be a good comp against this Alpha. Because Alpha doesn't care about your Spectral Smite damage, because if she just ults at the right time, your Spectral Smite is then useless.
Well, they can try to counter, right? You just put Spectral Smite onto Alpha, run double CP, something along those lines, Shatterglass, Echo, Ringo, and then you have an Aftershock Cruel. Works very well in terms of ganking against a Fox. You can just easily stick onto your Vox to smite this more damage, and yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm
just thinking what Renegades could go with, because it is definitely an off-meta draft from them. The Ringo is just not expected. He's not been played a lot. He's not seen as that strong in the meta, and he's up against one of the most meta comps that there is, the Vox. so good at the moment. Alpha, we've seen so good at the moment. And Catherine is a solid captain to round off the team. Obviously, when you're last picking your captain, you don't have that many left on the table. Lyra and Arden were probably probably higher priorities, but they've been taken away. So Catherine's not a bad final pick to round the comp off. I still think Chermolka would have been so much better because Crawl's going to dive in, so that's a guaranteed chain. Arden's going to dive in with the gauntlet, that's a guaranteed chain. Then you've got to land one skill shot onto Ringo, and boom, you're easy. You get 3 chains, and you're going to win a team fight if you get that. So we're going to have to wait till maybe the final until we get to finally see a Chermolka. But let us know who you think is going to take away this match. Will it be Renegades bringing back the series 1-1 with their Ringo pickup, or will Bren Esports take Alpha to 5 wins out of 5? We're loading into the house here on Fold. I'm so interested and so excited to see how this is going to work out.
Okay, so we are going to see a weapon uni, right? A weapon Ringo. And Chingy, they might just run double weapon, right? But according to you, and it is quite prevalent that Alpha works very well going into a weapon Ringo. There is really nothing stopping her to just jump on top of you. If you do twirling silver away, the biggest argument people can throw at me is, but I can twirling silver away. Well, I've got Prime Directive. Firstly, I've got my core charge as well.
Okay, there's no need to be that angry. They're just trying to make a point. Look, very, very angry.
I am known as the very angry person amongst all the casters in Vainglory 8 Southeast Asia. But it's just all in fun, it's the name of fun. But yeah,
it's all in fun until you get really angry.
Yes, there you go. But that argument does not stand valid at all, because this Alpha just has so much chase potential, and every Alpha ability that she uses to chase, she deals so much damage as well the moment she gets her aftershock rocket.
Yeah, I think that the aftershock is really going to be when Sync 1 decides to actually try and fight anyone, try and go in against the Crawl. Stun onto Uni, a little bit of damage, but just wanting some stacks. And Uni doing quite a lot of poke back onto Mr. Jim and onto Guessing X, but it's not going to be that much. There's actually a Dragon Bug contract picked up by Guessing X, so he's going for a much more aggressive start than SNK. But look at Uni, he's taking a lot of damage from those minions when he tried to get the poke. Now Crawl is trying to see if he can catch someone out, but did stand on Scout Trap, so that's not going to work. Guessing X now is going to try and steal this Treant away from Crawl. Maybe just get a stack. Crawl doesn't even want the Treant. He just wants to farm up his own jungle, wait for Bren Esports to start it up, and then Crawl wants to steal it. So both teams just backing away. Bren Esports are as 3, and SNK is by himself. Could be a stun, will be, and that will be a Dragon Ball contract popped by Guessing X maybe at some point. There it is, going to be, and SNK will fall to Alpha with that Prime Directive. Shingy is in a bad position. Will the root land? Not quite. Shingy's going to try and chase down the box with that Dead Man's Rush. The DMR coming through, but Sync 1 is on the back line. Shingy's going to fall. Bren Esports take the first 2 kills.
I personally don't like the Cruel, being picked going into an Alpha. I don't understand where Chingy maybe is coming from. That the smite, those stacks will reduce the amount of damage coming out from Sync 1. But in the early game, it is just so difficult for a Cruel to go up against Alpha. Alpha, not exactly the squishiest hero where you can just burst down with a Tension Ball proc, where you can just burst down and just build stacks on with your breaking point. Because even before you actually build up your breaking point stacks, you would probably just be down already. So that is one thing maybe the side of RNG has to reconsider coming into the strat draft. Uni may be getting caught out, but not so. Guessing X will have to back up. So this is one thing. Like I mentioned, RNG really have to reconsider their strat draft coming into this game. Running double weapon power is not wrong at all. But running double weapon power and 2 very squishy heroes, in fact, Cruel with that health barrier nerf, coming in from the previous patch, or
Uni could be in a bit of trouble. He's going to have to use boots to try and run away. Their Dragon Ball contract will be popped. Yes, it will, but the healing flask comes out and is big for Uni, and a nice Achilles shot to make Mr. Jim take an extra turret shot means that Bren Esports and Renegade are both going to be quite defensive. I didn't really like what Mr. Jim did with his rotation, because he left the lane for so long. When he went down to help Alpha kill Crawl, that was fine. He then ported home, which I thought, okay, that's fine, but then he needed to go to lane. He went to the backs with Alpha. He lost about 5 or 6 CS that just died under turret because he was at the backs with Alpha. He didn't get as much ambient as he would have got CS in lane. That's the only mistake the Michigan did slightly make, but they're still reasonably ahead in gold, and he is getting some nice ambient with the Alpha. It's hurting his CS a bit, but he's even on Ringo, so it can't be that bad. But I think he could have been ahead of Ringo given how well the early game went for Bren Esports.
Yeah, but we do see a lot more items on Mr. Jim as well, or rather not a lot more, but Mr. Jim has got the Swifty in the pocket, whereas Uni don't quite have that prioritizing on those boots and the flash first and building into the Sorrow Blade as soon as he can get the gold for it, whereas Mr. Jim can already get the Sorrow Blade after clearing maybe this minion, there you go, but a fight may just break up.
Yeah, a little bit of stack for Guessing X, up to 8 stacks already, 2 a minute, doing quite well on the Catherine. And he's looking to see if there's anyone else. Alpha going into the bush, knowing Crawl isn't there, getting a few bit of damage, a core charge stack as well, just to make sure that they're ready in case Crawl decides to rotate up for a fight. But yeah, Synquan has got the aftershock, but hasn't got level 6. So Mr. Jim's like, right, come on, let's go to your backs, Alpha. I want to get some farm. Let's get me towards late game as quick as possible.
Yeah, the flash being used by Uni. Uni now picking up that Sorrow Blade and sitting on a Weapon Blade, whereas looking over to Mr. Jim, Mr. Jim can pick up the Weapon Blade, the Sorrow Blade, and immediately just going for the 6 hits. If not, then a Lucky Strike as well. So he has enough gold for that, and let's just see what he will do.
Block, buy a block. No, Mr. Jim should have bought a block, not a Blazing Salvo, because Crawl is now level 6, and so the From Hell's Heart will destroy him if it's if it does hit him. Synquan now level 6 with that ultimate. So everyone's ready, everyone's got their ultimates available in the captains. But Bren Esports deciding not to fight. Mr. Jim's like, yep, I need to buy a block because Crawl has got his ultimate. No, he needs to buy weapon power defense apparently. So Mr. Jim completely ignoring what I'm saying, and he doesn't think that blocking anything is important.
Well, I mean, From Hell's Heart may not be a threat. May not be a threat for Mr. Jim now, or Mr. Jim is just very, very confident in his ability to just sidestep that ultimate coming out from Cruel. Maybe that is the case, but we do see Hellfire's Brew coming out onto Mr. Jim, not doing quite a lot of damage because it's not CP. And we do see Chingy just running away from Guessing X, who is rotating down into the shop.
Yeah, Mr. Jim going to pick up a healing tree and be fine. The Hellfire Brew is quite good in a team fight to engage it, and actually they're hyper-fiving Mr. Jim a little bit. He got all of the backs away from Alpha. So that's an interesting decision from members of Bren Esports to give Mr. Jim as much gold as possible and leave Alpha maybe a little bit first. She's not behind on Crawl by any means, but she could have been a bit ahead, I guess. And Mr. Jim is farming really well against Uni, as I said, because he took a little bit of jungle away. So now, will there be a fight? Go on, Bren Esports, go for it. And there's going to be a little bit of an engage, and Catherine's going to get a jungle by contract and a stack. There's From Hell's Heart lands onto Alpha this time. Now Sigma going to go in, and there's going to be a Prime Directive. Will he get the ultimate off in time? Yes, he will, just barely using the Spectral Smite, but Alpha got his ultimate off. That's exactly what I was talking about. Spectral Smite does not work against Alpha if she uses her ultimate. It basically makes it pointless. Now Dragon by contract was used, but it's not anymore. And Shingy's going to try and do what he can. But Vox getting those rhythms bounces, and Shingy going to go in, but going to attack the Catherine. That's a lovely stun. Going to go on to Arden, actually, and now Catherine's not level 6. Arden used the fountain, and he has got the gauntlet ready to try and jump in if he wants to start the fight up, but Shingy is too low to go in. SNK, gauntlet very defensive. Alpha going to not get stunned, just barely able to survive that. Uni trying to kite, and that's going to be a rush. I'm not quite going to have enough damage. That didn't hit SNK either. And so SNK going to take so much damage if that blast gem would connect, it would be an easy kill. But that's the Alpha over the turret, over the wall. Turret decides that I think it was Guessing X was the first one to attack an enemy hero. So that was well played by Bren Esports. Shingy going to go down to the Alpha in the end, and this will be probably a gold mine and tier 1 turret for Bren Esports.
Wow, Alpha definitely coming in very, very strong for any teams that are playing her. And when I say teams that are playing her, it is quite a stark difference between how Bren Esports actually utilize the power spikes of Alpha as compared to how RNG actually used the Alpha in the previous game. Maybe RNG has got something up the sleeves, thinking that Ringo and Cruel can counter Alpha, but that is likely not the case. We do see both Uni and Chingy having that breaking point, but it's just not stacking enough. There is just not enough consistent damage. Now Uni may be in trouble.
Uni tried to get that tier 1 turret for himself, trying to sneak it away, but Guessing X did boots in. SNK taking no damage. Shingy going to get the Prime Directive onto Shingy. Sorry, Sync1 going to get the Prime Directive onto Shingy as well. And now are they going to go for the gold mine? Is that the play? I'm not sure yet. They will most likely start it up now.
Yep, they might just start it out now. I mean, they will be, and there is nothing much that the side of RNG can do. No abilities to steal, no universal out. They can throw out like that, a solar storm, or one shot, one steal. However, they might just attempt to, but nope, they will not. It will go over to Bren Esports. And we see this. It is very similar game as compared to the last as well, right? Bren Esports kind of owning in the early game, trying to snowball as hard as possible. But then, in the change of tide, just one mistake or two coming up from Bren Esports, and RNG can immediately just capitalize on those very small mistakes. So I'm not counting RNG out yet. I mean, just looking at the gold itself, it might quite be... just look very, very sad for the side of RNG. The side of Bren Esports only holding on to 3 kills, but already 4,000 gold ahead.
Yeah, definitely playing well with the objectives to make sure they get as far ahead as they can. Double breaking point, as you said, being picked up. No bonesaw yet, though. So the armor on Vox and Arthur is doing quite a bit well. This from helps out. Going to come out, going to stun up Vox. He hasn't got available, but he has got a double tornado trigger, but it's course going to get the Spectral Smite, picking up the first kill. Now, what can Sync 1 do? He has got a Dragon's Eye, so he's stacking up. Shingy can take a lot of damage, but Alpha's got Spectral Smite stacks. He's going to get the ultimate off in time. He's going to boots away and going to save his ultimate for a little bit. There's the Hellfire Brew. Not going to finish off Sync 1, but it does do a little bit of damage on the turret. Nope, there was a barrier, so that's not going to do anything. Now Sync 1, is he going to go in as a stun on to the Ringo? He's going to get the ultimate. No, he's going to use Prime Directive instead, so he does not get Alpha, does not get the ultimate off, but he will respawn. Shingy going to try and get some stacks. Sync 1 going to go in Prime Directive onto Uni now with one core charge. Does get it. Needs to get another base attack and will do. And now Sync 1 on the chase. Going to go for the Arden now. No, Arden with the baits. He dodges the Prime Directive. And even though it looked like Renegade were going to win that fight, Alpha just came through.
Well, Alpha definitely came through, and lucky for Alpha, really. I must say it is just pure luck. But now SNK going very low. Bren Esports just diving under the turret to just take down SNK almost immediately. Mr. Jim just putting out so much damage with double tornado trigger and one Sorrow Blade. So what I was gonna say earlier on is just down to luck, right? Jingye was very, very unlucky then. He had a lot of stacks onto Alpha, but just couldn't find the smite at all. Hellfire Brew didn't quite pick up Alpha. And at the end of the day, Alpha did go into the Prime Directive, but did not have enough time to actually pop that ultimate. Had Alpha actually popped out her ultimate, then it would probably be, you know, an ace, a probable ace for the side of Bren Esports. However, we do see a little more fight coming up from RNG now. They're not going to allow Bren Esports to just win, or have an easy win at least.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be close. Crawler's waiting at the top. There's double ultimate, and that's what Mr. Jim can do. He can dodge it with the Sonic Zoom. Guessing X is going to go down, but he's going to get the rush down in time. Alpha now trying to turn around, but he's going to lose his Dragon's Eye stacks because he's not basic attacking anyone. And Guessing X slightly out of position. No block to get himself out the gauntlet. He went for Atlas second because of his double weapon, and Echo third. Shingy taking so much damage just from that Alpha aftershock proc, plus a bit of poke from Mr. Jim's Solar Blade double tornado trigger Vox. Now Renegade going to start off this gold mine. Most likely they're going to be able to secure it unless Bren get a fight and get an ace. Then I think Bren Esports will be able to secure this gold mine. And now Renegade, they're going to back off, so Bren Esports could start it up if they have a good map awareness. Guessing X, yep, he's making the shot calls. We know they're backing off. This is going to be an easy gold mine. There's not going to be a steal from Renegade. Unless that flare was spotted out by SNK. No, that's well played by Bren Esports.
Yep. Very good rotations coming up from Bren Esports, just scaring RNG away so that, you know, scaring them away, putting them, you know, about half health, forcing them to just, you know, go back to base, if not just go back to farming, and then they immediately just turn onto that gold miner, securing 400 gold for each of themselves, now sitting at a 6k gold lead, or rather close to 6k, it's about 5-ish k gold lead for the side of Bren Esports. They are definitely looking very strong. But once again, I want to say RNG not out of the game yet, right? We've seen RNG play it before, and in the previous game as well, Bren Esports secured about, you know, have about a similar amount of gold lead, but Bren Esports can't, or rather RNG still managed to find a comeback and just capitalize the amount of mistakes, the mistakes coming out from Bren Esports. Guessing X may be caught out. Hellfire Brew coming out on Sync 1.
Yeah, Sync 1 used the Atlas because he thought Quill was going to engage at the same time, but he did not in the end. Now Renegade looking to try and seize this turret, but Vox ported home to get an infusion. The Uni going to run away from Guessing X, has higher tier boots, so able to I'm not sure how, but Uni managed to run away from Guessing X. And there's going to be the last shot coming down. Does not get the silence. It was blocked up. Alpha not going to get into reboot, actually. She was stunned up as well. And that is going to be Ringo taking a lot of damage there from the Vox. Vox just 1v1ing Ringo like it's nothing. Single going to respawn out of that Prime Directive. That's going to be another. So out of Termination Protocol, that Prime Directive is going to hit Shingy. That Core Charge is going to hit SNK. One more is not quite enough. Bren Esports. So in solo, Sync 1 survives on a sliver. Is he going to go over the type with the Prime Directive? Yes, he will. That's Uni going to die. That's the play. Sync 1 with the Alpha. And that's a double kill. And that is going to be probably a tier 2 turret for Bren Esports. Alpha's just looking unbeatable at the moment.
I don't know. In that team fight, it just looked like Mr. Jim wasn't touched at all. I mean, let's all be honest, right? If had Mr. Jim just, been pulled down by Uni, Mr. Jim could have just easily went down. But considering the amount of damage Mr. Jim has as compared to Uni, 14 minutes in, Uni sitting at perfect farm, 145 CS, but looking over at Mr. Jim, he has 180 CS, right? 179 now, okay, so 180, and it's close to full build. It has a double tornado trigger, 1 Tyrant's Monaco, a Sorrow Blade as well. How are you gonna beat this beast, these beasts coming out from Mr. Jim? I mean, you can have Chingy constantly sticking onto Mr. Jim, but that is just gonna, Chingy will just be busted down by Mr. Jim. And then if Uni just close an eye, just allow Mr. Jim to just poke from the back, there is no way whatsoever that, RNG can win. The only way RNG can win is just to all 3 members just jump onto Mr. Jim, eliminate him almost immediately, and then turn their attention, all that they have onto that Alpha. But then again, this is a pretty much
that's going to be the attention turned onto Mr. Jim. That's exactly Echo using the blast hammer, and Catherine's going to try and run out the gauntlet, but has not got a block. As I said, water used by Guessing X. Will it be enough? Yes, with the Fountain Atlas onto Wall. Ringo trying to start step, but does not get 2 basic attacks, only gets 1. So Guessing X survives. But as you said, Renegade, it's like they're listening to you, Luxury. They had to dive Mr. Jim, kill him, and then it's pretty simple fight from there. They just win the fight.
Yeah, I mean, like mentioned, right? It is a very easy fight for Renegades. Considering all forms of Sync 1 maybe coming to look first.
All forms of Sync 1. He's diving in. He's got Lance onto Ringo. He's going to do quite a lot of damage, but I'm lagging, and Sync 1's doing a lot of damage to Ringo, and Crawl gets the Kraken in the end. Sync 1's going to try his ultimate. He will be able to get the Termination Protocol off, whereas Prime Directive is not out for another second, and so Sync 1's going to put in a bit of trouble. Mr. Jim is alive. He's going to be Atlas, and actually that is going to be a death. The first death for Sync 1. He gets shut down. Now Mr. Jim's going to try and take this Kraken as quickly as possible. He hasn't got a breaking point, so he has significant damage on the Kraken without needing any heroes to do so. Ringo's going backwards from quite a long position away, so Mr. Jim, despite being 2v3, is able to poke this Kraken for quite a long time before he gets to its tier 2 turret.
Yep, I mean, Kraken now is down to 2/3 health, and as I mentioned earlier on, it is a very easy fight for RNG all in all, considering everything put together, right? You have that Alpha just jumping in, and I constantly say this as well, Alpha works best, right? Just be frontlining all the damage.
Yeah, there's going to be Alpha trying to frontline this damage. He's going to be a max range stun on. Nothing for the Vox. He's going to go down. Uni's going to go down as well to the Alpha. She's out, but she doesn't care. She's going to get that Prime Directive from Core Charge in. Prime Directive that time does not connect, and now Sync 1's going to try and go into the back and lose the Smite stacks as Cruel Smite's in. The Alpha has got no weakness stacks on her. She can go on Shing if she wants to. Kraken's going to basically die to the next turret anyway. But Sync 1 wants to make sure it gets as little damage as possible. Mr. Jim, once he gets Aegis, it's going to be so much harder for the members of Renegades, to kill Mr. Jim, because their entire team fight focus is kill Mr. Jim, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, considering everything, right? And even it just follows I want to say it's a theory for me that people who pick Alpha in their team comms, right? They have an indirect pill because they just jump in with their Prime Directive, with their Core Charge, just put themselves frontward at the front of the wall. Have everybody just rain damage on the Alpha, and you have your weapon carry just at the back, just poking, right? Just putting out damage bit by bit, just stacking those breaking point stacks, and it will be really a mess afterwards if you just allow the Alpha to go through like that.
Sentry gone down. That's gonna be a silence coming through. He's not blocked, so there's no fountain, no crucible, no echo. Shingy's going to get the kill onto Vox though. Now Sync 1's going to try to phase out. Sentry is going to be defeated for the time. And Alpha, Prime Directive over the wall. Is he going to go for it? Nope, not going to get that in time. And that was a very interesting play from Guessing X. Got the silence down onto SNK. Crucible didn't block it, and Shingy going to try and put home. He probably could have got home anyway. That's going to be an easy kill for the Alpha. Atlas from Shingy still going to try, but actually Catherine gets the kill in the end. Kraken is not up though. So what is the call from Bren Esports? They're going to go to it and wait, or what they're going to do? They now don't know what to do, and they're going to just wait for Kraken. They could have got the tier 3 turret if they knew Kraken wasn't up, but now it's kind of annoying for them.
Yep, and Chingy as well has to play very much like the Alpha, right? Jump onto Mr. Jim, put out as much stack onto Mr. Jim as possible, act like an indirect peel for Uni on this weapon Ringo. That way, all the damage is rained on to Chingy. I mean, Chingy has got Atlas Pauldron, has got Aegis, but is building more weapon attack. Have got a Lucky Strike. I would have preferred if Chingy maybe settled for a tankier build. That way, SNK getting
SNK once again, as you said, being caught out. What's he going to do? He's going to go over the wall, but is that going to be enough? Blast Drummer comes down, and that means the Echo is not ready. He's going to use it now. So that's the second goal. That's so defensive from SNK. Forced to use both gauntlets just to disengage. Bren Esports just have a free Kraken. There's really nothing Renegade can do here. They go for a fight, then SNK is just far too low to even try and do it. But it looks like they have to try and fight. If they steal this Kraken, it could be the game for them. And now Guessing X are going, right, let's go and fight. Alpha going to try and go in. That's going to be the Atlas Pauldron, not popped by Alpha. There it is, going to hit the Ringo. Core going to get max range stun onto the Captain, but Vox, meanwhile, is building up so much damage onto Arden. He gets the first blood. He gets the first blood of this fight. And now Alpha going to try into Ringo against the Alpha, but steal the Kraken. But will it be enough? That means that now Brendan will have a tough decision. They're going to go for the win. They're going to go for the base race. 33 seconds on the SNK. I think they have enough damage, but I just don't know, Luxuria.
I mean, looking at the moral damage or the items that Mr. Jim has, I would be surprised if they don't quite end the game just yet. But we have SNK and Chingy coming up very, very soon if they do not take this down. If they actually spot, SNK may find an answer to this. SNK is out, will not be able to do much. The crystal definitely falling really quickly, and the second game will go over to the side of Bren Esports, and a mistake coming out from SNK really causing them, or the side of RNG, the game.
Yeah, it didn't seem like that bad a problem because SNK was low, but they can try and fight around this Kraken. You lose your captain immediately. Both Echo, both Gauntlet and Blastrum were all on cooldown. They couldn't use neither captain could use their ultimate. But the problem with that was that SNK was at about a quarter health, so all Mr. Jim had to do a couple of basic attacks, finish off SNK, and then the fight's so much easier for the side of Bren Esports. They just had to dive